Otherwise it's all in my head and maybe I've got a Stendhal Syndrome. Hi guys, I just finished watching Stendhal Syndrome. I was a little bit surprised by this because it is more kind of fantasy based than Argento's normal work. I don't know if that's correct in saying that, but there's a scene at the very start that's super fantasy. And then I looked it up afterwards and they actually won fantasy horror awards from, one fantasy horror award from this movie. The film has a really cool and original concept. It's about the syndrome you get when you totally get immersed in a painting, and it can set off hallucinations, and I don't know, it's just a psychedelic trip. More anxiety fueled, I guess, than that. But it was really interesting, and I think for anyone who likes art, you can understand when you get emotional or you see something and you just don't know why, but it really affects you. And I really liked that concept, but I felt like half of the movie was spent working on that concept, and then the other half it just really turned a corner and just went a little bit insane, and not the good insane. I would say that this film could totally be broken up into 2 acts, and I really enjoyed the first act, but the second act I was just kind of lost, and for such a simple and original concept I was kind of bummed that they even went that way. The film has some really interesting challenging scenes. There's a lot of graphic sex scenes, male and female, so that's pretty intense. When I say graphic, I should say assault scenes. So yeah, that was a lot. There was a lot more than I expected. They just kept coming back, and it was kind of after a while you're just trying to shock me. And another thing that I felt was a little bit shocking, not really shocking, just kind of out of place, was they had these graphic animated scenes. She's swallowing a pill at one stage and you can see it go down her throat, and it's just from the inside, and it's just an animation, and it's weird, and it didn't have to be there. So those things were really weird, and I don't know if it's just it doesn't seem accurate for the time now that obviously our graphic animation is so much better, but it just didn't fit and it shouldn't have been there. But I guess that was the director trying to follow the fantasy kind of flow of things. I just felt it was really forced. Like I said, it is a really interesting, cool concept, but I felt it went for 2 hours, and I felt it was at least half an hour too long. And I think they just should have cut. It could have ended at a certain point. I think they should have just cut the whole end part off because I just didn't like it. And it's really sad because I would have given it a 6 or a 7, maybe a 6.5, I don't know, a 6 at least for the first half. But then with the second half, I'm just oh, I'm gonna give that a 4. So I'm gonna meet it in the middle and give this one a 5. Some cool facts I read about this film is that the score of the film can be played the same backwards and forwards, which is pretty insane. And they were the only one to have filmed inside of that particular art gallery in Florence. The only person who ever got permission was Dario Argento. Anyway, regardless, I am glad that I've seen this film. I can add it to my list of the trauma films I have seen. But yeah, really unfortunate ending. Let me know if you thought that the first act and the second act were different, and if you preferred one or the other. Let me know if you know what I mean. Otherwise it's all in my head and maybe I've got a Stendhal Syndrome. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys very soon. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay spooky, guys.